in the home of Lynda Goldberg, monotype artist, and she's going to show us her work. So I'm talking to Lynda Goldberg, and wow, what a tour of all of her work. So Lynda, how would you describe the kind of art that you do in general?
Okay, my specialty is monotypes,
okay,
which are one-of-a-kind works on paper. They can probably be on anything,
right.
And I do it with a press, and I'm always doing it basically with a press. For the pressure,
okay,
to get the image to transfer in a lot of detail onto the paper.
Okay, so given that as your process, what is your current favorite, like today's favorite? And I know that's really hard, but today's favorite, and yeah.
Okay, well, I would say it's probably this piece.
Okay.
And
see,
it took several years.
Really, several years?
Yeah, because it's lots of layers, and I wasn't sure how to do it, and now it just works.
So what sort of things affect your work? Like when you travel, do you find that you end up doing specific pieces because of those trips?
Sometimes. For instance, this one is from a hiking trip that we took in the White Mountains.
Oh.
And then the next morning, the dew on the pine trees, which are short because of the weather and the winds,
sure,
all had dew drops on them, and it was just like a magical, misty moment. And this isn't with plants, this is just with brush strokes.
So did you use the printing press at all in this particular piece?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did?
It ran through the press, and I actually used the brayer to create ghosts. I push the brayer over, and then with the ink,
yes,
I put it over here. Then I'd go over another section that had different intensities of ink, and then would roll it elsewhere, or had this and would just keep rolling. This one is from different trips that we took one year that happened to all have water, and it was from my imagination, and I used oil paints, water-soluble oil paints, to get this effect, and then collaged leaves that I had printed using the press from different places. These obviously are from New England, and then these here were from Ecuador. And it just ended up being water. We'd seen Niagara Falls and other waterfalls in Ecuador.
And so the leaves, so these are leaves?
Yes, yes, and I did cut them out with an X-Acto knife.
Cut them out? Oh, I see.
Glued or collaged them all.
So it's not actually leaves, it's actually leaves printed on...
On paper.
On paper?
Different
papers.
It's
fantastic. Really fantastic.
Papers. And then these are iris leaves from our garden.
And so did you actually cut out the holes?
Yes, on some of the leaves, yes, and then on these, the paper has holes.
Oh, wow.
And so that contributed.
Oh, it just looks beautiful.
And then afterwards, to unify it, I just spattered white paint, diluted white paint.
Wow. So, excuse me, Lynda, I couldn't help but notice this piece is so vastly different than all of your other work. Can you enlighten us?
It is. It's about 1 month off the press.
Oh, wow.
And I was asked to test some printing papers. So I decided I was just going to risk everything, not do it like I usually do. So I've been wanting to get large and into gestural motions because I'd taken some calligraphy classes, Chinese calligraphy, loved the brush stroke and the ink and the paper. So I just had fun and created this. I worked on a background and then made my gestural motions and ran it through.
Wow.
And that's what came out, and then the next time just added some of the brown and red, and that's it.
So do you see this as a process that you're going to be exploring further? Do you feel like this is where your work is going? Do you feel like it was maybe a one-time experiment?
I'd like to combine everything, but make it more gestural and open, keep it spontaneous, and just really use that one-time deal with monotypes.
So another example of where you're using plant work, plant life, yes?
Is here, and this is Linaria, and everybody knows it as the silver dollar plant.
Yeah.
Those papery things, right, the money plant. And when you're inking it, and I can show you downstairs, it has 3 layers to that silvery piece, and in between one layer is 2 seeds and the other layer is 1, and it separates or it splits, and I just have a blast with that. And I combined it with eggshells, which is another thing that's really interesting, and each, when you print it the first time, has a white edge.
Yes.
And the eggshell is like a mosaic. So, and this here is just some fuzz that grows on a neighbor's bush, and I've incorporated it here.
So Lynda, thank you so much for having us here in your studio, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been so nice and so much fun.
Yes.
So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.